Squid Game should have lasted until season 1.
I agree. That's the
We should have
first
left
thing I
it there
said.
and then drop it over to Hollywood. Welcome to your favorite K-pop show, DK News.
Danny,
David,
lots and lots of
hot ass tea. First off, we have Taeil says he's struggling financially, but jail time is likely.
And second, we have BTS confirming their spring 2026 comeback.
Woo!
Finally.
And last but not least, we have the final season of Squid Game hitting #1, but struggling to satisfy fans.
And on to the first news.
Former NCT member Taeil says he's struggling financially, but jail time is likely. Taeil is facing a likely prison sentence after being charged with aggravated rape involving multiple offenders. Prosecutors have requested 7 years in prison, mandatory participation in a sexual violence treatment program, a 10-year employment ban from child-related institutions, and public disclosure of his personal information. The incident occurred in June of last year, and Taeil and 2 acquaintances sexually assaulted an intoxicated foreign woman. All 3 were indicted without detention in March, and the case has since drawn widespread attention. Attorney Song Joo-hee, speaking on YTN Radio's Case X-File, stated that Taeil is unlikely to avoid prison. Although Taeil's legal team claims he turned himself in before police intervention, prosecutors argue that the letter came only after authorities had already identified him through CCTV footage and began preparing a search. The court may not view this as a true voluntary confession. Taeil's defense emphasized his clean record, past charity work, his mother's resignation from her job due to the scandal, and his current financial struggles following his departure from the group. But attorney Song noted that the nature of the crime could outweigh these factors. Prosecutors described the assault as premeditated, citing how the victim was placed in a taxi at a different location, allegedly to confuse her. The coordinated involvement of multiple offenders is also seen as a major aggravating factor. Though Taeil has admitted to the charges and reportedly settled with the victim, legal experts believe the seriousness of the crime and the victim's status as a foreign tourist will likely lead to a heavy sentence. A slight reduction from the 7-year request is possible, but a significant prison term is expected. This remains one of the most serious criminal cases involving a K-pop idol in recent memory, and updates will follow as sentencing nears.
He's a registered offender now.
Yes, not to stand on his side whatsoever. The moment I heard about his mom losing her job and resigning and all that, she as a human being doesn't deserve that. Like, she just had a shitty son.
You could also argue that she raised a shitty son.
Oh yeah, maybe. Okay. Other than that little minuscule fact, everything that was mentioned is all BS. Like the fact that he did charity, he was like a public service to the people because of his idol activities.
Public service.
This news isn't getting that much spotlight as it deserves to. If you remember all these other incidents that happened to other idols for like really little things, you know what I'm talking about, versus this.
Yeah.
You know, like it's kind of weird. To be totally honest, like even though he's NCT, like I don't think a lot of the mainstream public knew about him in the first place. So they'd be like, I even saw in the comments like, who?
On to the next news. Final season of Squid Game hits #1, but struggles to satisfy fans. The final season of Squid Game has taken over the world quite literally, with a record-setting #1 debut in all countries, amassing 60.1 million views in just 3 days. The release of the finale also put the previous 2 seasons in the top 10 most watched rankings this week globally as well. The latest season follows Ki-hoon, who returns to the deadly game after his failed revolt in season 2. His journey becomes the focal point as he makes new relationships, and there's more brutal games with the added element of minor spoilers, having to carry a fucking newborn infant around the entire thing. Now, despite the commercial success of the final season, the critical consensus is split on Rotten Tomatoes, while the critic score sits at 83%. The audience reviews dropped to 52%. Telegraph described the finale as satisfying, while the New York Times and the Hollywood Reporter criticized the show for its predictable characters and lack of emotional depth, with the latter calling the season too short on surprise and emotion. Meanwhile, there have been rumors circulating that a US version of Squid Game is in the works. Anyone who finished season 3, minor spoilers, would know there's a particular cameo that hints at this being a real possibility. And rumors have been circulating that David Fincher, director of Fight Club and The Social Network 7, is set to direct. Fan responses to this have been overwhelmingly negative, as they feel it would ruin the original charm and depth of Squid Game.
At this
point, let David Fincher make this shit.
Squid Game should have lasted until season 1.
I agree. That's the
We should
first
have
thing
left
I
it there
said.
and then drop it over to Hollywood.
Let Hollywood take care of it. Let them make a shitty version, and then we can shit on it. But after season 3, even if the US version is ass,
we've also milked this
To
shit.
be fair, Netflix made this happen. The director didn't have anything in plan for season 2 and 3. But then Netflix was like, oh, we can't stop you.
Right.
You know, this is our best IP ever. To explain why it was asked for me, I think I have major 2 reasons. The first one is the detective.
He's useless.
Why he exists.
Major spoilers. He gets to the end of the games, and he's like, Hyung. And then it fucking explodes, and he gets $40 million in cash.
And then
a
he
baby.
gets the baby.
Like, why? Why does he get the baby?
Spends 2 seasons circling around islands.
He's always on that fucking boat.
Yeah.
And all like 95% of the
And he
scenes.
never believes his comrades. Like, he's
Yeah,
like, oh,
like-
there's something fishy about that guy. He's
Everybody
like, no,
tells him the
he
right
saved my
thing.
life. He's a good man. I don't think he deserved that much screen time because, like, they did a lot of cross editing over there, and then they showed him a lot.
Every time he was on the screen, I was like, oh, he's already getting too much screen time here. Next, the baby. The goddamn baby.
That is my second point. Okay, the baby was a clever way from the director to like end the vicious cycle. It's symbolic and it's important, but I think the whole series of season 3 just revolved entirely around the baby. It got like plot armor, it got like Deus Ex Machina, it got everything.
Kyun, the character.
Yeah.
He's the most irrational out of everybody.
Yeah.
Well, since when has he seen this girl, the mother of the baby, and now he wants to like give up his life because of this baby? Another thing that I didn't like was like 90% of Kyun's scenes is just him like handcuffed on that fucking bed and just looking
at that
guy. I bet like they just took like 20 minutes to just get those all in, and then they're like, okay, you can leave now. He has no like emotional curve. He's just that guy. Throughout season 2 and 3, he's just that guy.
And then suddenly he becomes this devoted guardian of the baby.
Exactly. And then he decides to kill like 8 people because he has to protect the fucking baby.
Exactly. I have to give points to the director of making it a clean ending though, like with the baby, like there's no loop that can go on.
Or maybe the baby grows up. And makes Squid Game season 4. And on to the next news. BTS confirms spring 2026 comeback. It's official. BTS will have a group comeback in 2026. The news broke out on BTS's Weverse live stream on July 2nd. They're first as a group in 2 years and 10 months. In the live stream, RM announced, starting in July, we're planning to make something massive. So from then, which is this month, we'll probably gather together and stay focused on making music. Our group album will officially be set to release next spring. Starting next spring, we'll of course go on tour. So please look forward to seeing us all around the globe. So if everything goes to plan, they will be releasing their first group album in 4 years. 2022, they had released Proof and they also held their last group concert in Busan in October of 2022. The members since then have been pursuing solo activities as well as serving their military service. All members finished their service, with Suga being the last to be released on June 21st on 2025. The new album will be created mainly in the US, with all members heading to the States this month. The group plans to focus all their attention on making music, and industry insiders state that their world tour plans have already been set.
Wow.
Which I called on Patreon like 3 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah, you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, patreon.com.
But why didn't I buy hype stocks?
So I sold hype stocks before it rose.
What an intelligent investor.
I'm very excited. I'm curious to see what kind of music they'll put out, because their solo careers quite different from what we were used to hearing from BTS. Maybe those kind of tastes will blend in and create a new flavor.
I think definitely for the B-sides that's a possibility, but for the title track, I think it's
They'll
going to
keep
be
their-
a classic BTS is what I'm expecting. What I'm curious about is the States is a better environment to be more free and creative in terms of like less attention or whatever,
Less
or maybe
pop-up.
not. I mean there's just more landmass and like
Right.
more-
There's Wyoming or
What?
Utah.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna be in LA or somewhere around.
I'm sure like there's lots of American artists
Yeah.
that will be on this album.
Right, right.
And there's a lot of American producers that they'll collaborate
Mm.
with, which is why it's probably more convenient for them to be there.
But which American artists do you expect or want to be on the album?
Oh, Taylor Swift,
I want Billie Eilish.
Post Malone.
Post Malone's
I
possible.
think
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a real
that's
possibility.
possible, yeah.
Post Malone recently broke up with his 20-year-old Korean girlfriend.
Okay, good to know.
So he has a lot of inspiration, I'm sure.
I want some of the crossovers with Blackpink too, because they're on full tour mode too right now.
I
So
don't think that's gonna.
and they're also. I mean,
No, I mean like
They've
they're
all
just
been
two
doing-
different worlds.
yeah.
But
so,
if
like,
it happens, it'll be
make
the biggest
world
shit
crazy,
ever.
Exactly.
Yeah, it'll be the biggest shit ever.
Yeah.
And guess what happens? What's happening next year?
What?
The World Cup. For their timing is quite perfect for a new album and then a promo run and then the world tour,
Yeah.
and then they naturally land in.
I mean, as much as I love BTS and I want them to be some part of the World Cup,
Yeah.
if it's a World Cup set in North America and Trump is president,
What?
I feel like there's
you're worried that they'll get iced?
no. I don't think
What?
I don't think they're gonna take like a Super Bowl role in the World Cup ceremonies or whatever, or like the
Trump has no
performances.
control over the World Cup.
But still,
What are you talking about?
I feel like the environment over there, it's definitely going to be a very like American kind of thing rather than a
Oh,
BTS.
so like Bruce Springsteen. See?
I hope they do a lot of Seoul venues though, like Korea venues.
Yeah, like I said, they should do a 30-day residency. Even domestic artists are doing like 2 weeks, 4 weeks. I don't think it's quite out of the question as you might think. It's not gonna be like 30 days, quite literally. It's gonna be just like Friday to Sunday, right?
Yeah.
So if they do a concert in Seoul, it could be a month.
Yeah. And it's gonna be festa for the whole month. Okay.
So there you go. But we'll talk more about.
I'm gonna buy hype stocks. Maybe it's not the best time to buy now, but like.
So do exactly the opposite of what we're doing. Buy high, sell low.
Why did you sell?
No.
BTS equals hype. Like
I
whatever,
know,
new
I
jeans
know.
or whatever.
I know it was. In hindsight, it's dumb. Maybe at the moment it was still dumb, but I wanted to be grounded to my philosophy of only buying the S&P 500.
Okay, whatever.
I believe in America. Even in Trump land, I still believe the intelligence of the group collective of American people will set the course right in the long run.
I mean, I would prefer to believe in America than another country.
Oh. More on BTS's comeback and their world tour in the after show on Patreon. And also we're going to talk about Hype's plans to establish an Indian subsidiary. A very interesting move there.
Has BTS done a venue in India before?
I believe no.
Mumbai?
No.
No?
I don't think
Oh,
so.
is this hinting up to An Indian concert?
Maybe. Coldplay did one. And we have K-pop Demon Hunters.
Oh, yeah.
Great show.
Yeah.
And we have Extraordinary Heroes, Junhan, apologizing for racial eugenic comments.
Okay.
And aespa becoming the first K-pop girl group to perform in Africa.
Wow.
Yeah.
K-pop going to different places.
Everybody, everywhere. Please
Okay.
join us on patreon.com/DKDKTV. And
Advise us on whether we should buy HYBE or YG stocks.
Yes. And we will see you guys next time.
Bye.